Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Mercedes Pollmeier. So last week I posted a video of me doing a bridge on Instagram and asked my followers whether or not they felt comfortable in this position and what things held them back from feeling good. I got some really great feedback from those comments, and so that's what we're going to cover today in this video. So I'm going to go over 4 different techniques that will hopefully get you a little bit more comfortable being overhead in the bridge position. Well, first off, why is the bridge so important? Why do we care about it? Well, from the very beginning, I actually talked about the bridge in my book, Simple Strength. These are the top 3 bodyweight positions that I think all athletes, especially outdoor athletes, should be doing. But why? Well, it offers a lot of benefits to the overhead position. So if you're looking at awkward positions, especially in modern day route setting, you're going to get these really aggressive overhead positions. And you're going to see that more and more in the World Cup climbing. On top of being prepared for more awkward positions, you're also going to get more ease and space in the overhead position when we're working on spinal extension, as well as anything overhead that's pressing. So you can really open up your flexibility in your upper thoracic spine and the strength and stability in your shoulders. Another benefit is that, it's really great on the spine. We hardly ever are in this position, and I would say that this is the antagonist position to life's positions. Our life positions seem to just pull us forward, round our shoulders forward, and essentially get us closer and closer to the ground. So this is why I really love the bridge. And it's kind of cool. So I'm not saying that you need to do the bridge. You can actually do variations of thoracic spine extension with overhead pressing. So just know you have a lot of options and that you don't necessarily have to do the bridge. But you know what? If you talk to any of my stretch mechanic athletes who have been doing bridge for a while, they will tell you that, they feel much better and feeling much more open because of working on the bridge. So the first pain point are the wrists. Some people have even just a really hard time getting the hands in the bridge position. So let's make this a little bit easier by working on a specific warm-up. Hold these positions for 30 to 60 seconds. If your wrists are really tight, I would say holding these positions for upwards of 2 minutes. The second part would be, let's work on your hand position. So instead of going fingers straight back facing your shoulders, let's go out a little bit wider and maybe turn your fingers out a little bit. This is going to give your wrists a little bit more room to move as you press up into the bridge. Another technique that some of my clients came up with is actually placing a board against the wall. So here I'm demonstrating 2 slant boards up against the wall and placing my hands on them. And actually, it is quite nice on the hands. Another variation is using the bottom of a pair of parallettes. This one was actually really great because I actually didn't feel any discomfort in the wrists. However, it is a little bit harder to press up into the bridge. All right, so now we're coming to the second pain point, which is feelings of pain or discomfort in the knees or the legs. So maybe your legs are kind of splaying out. So this is an indication that your quads and hip flexors are tight. So we're gonna go about it the same way as we did the wrists. We're gonna start with a prep stretch. So the first one I really love is the couch stretch. And then the second one is the hip flexor stretch from the ground. You can hold these for up to 60 seconds. If you're feeling really tight, again, let's hold it upwards of 2 minutes, especially with these bigger muscle groups. So now the third pain point is transitioning from the ground up into a bridge. It is a really hard position to press into, but we can break this down into 3 different positions. So the first position is, let's have you go just up to the top of your head. So you're gonna put your feet up against a surface that isn't movable so that you can use your feet to press up against. And then you're gonna place your hands on the ground so that, again, we're gonna play with this hand position. So maybe go a little bit wider or turn your wrists out a little bit. And you're gonna press up onto your head. If you can do this, you're gonna come back out of it and go into it again. So you're gonna repeat and practice just getting up onto the top of your head. If this feels nice, let's get you off the ground, maybe ½ an inch to an inch. I don't want you pressing up all the way yet. So get into your prep position, positioning the hands, coming up onto the head, And then you can go a little bit wider with your hands now because we're about to press overhead. So by going wider, you're opening up more space to press. And you're gonna just press up about an inch and you're gonna hold this position. This position is an awesome technique to improve the strength of your shoulders in the overhead position. So holding this for 10 seconds, 20, 30, you can really take this up to about a minute. But I would say at about the 30-second mark, you can really start to practice the overhead press. So now let's practice the full press up. So again, placing your feet up against the surface, positioning your hands where you want it, coming up onto the head. So now let's get you to press all the way up. Use your hips as momentum to push you all the way up. Now the bridge doesn't have to look perfect. My bridge is not perfect and it may never be because I'm a climber. I'm using my lats all of the time. And so I'm gonna have tightness there probably for the rest of my life. But I'm gonna be continually working on the bridge so that I can always find ease in that movement because overhead positions are so critical for climbers. So don't get too stuck in perfectionism. It doesn't have to look perfect. It just needs to be pressing up into a bridge. If you press up and you're feeling some back pain, okay, that is actually quite normal, but we don't want that. We don't ever want lower back pain. So what you can do is actually elevate your feet. And this is gonna drive most of the tension into your upper spine. In this video, I'm actually showing elevated feet on a pretty high surface. I'm used to this position. Ideally, it's a little bit lower. And this is gonna give you more room to press into the overhead position. So try this if you're feeling pain in your lower back. So now the fourth pain point and our last pain point is the mental barriers of the bridge. Just even thinking about the bridge can bring on pain and dread and like, you know what, we don't really want to do it. But if you're really working on the bridge, there are ways that you can make this feel more comfortable. The first thing, have a really good warm up. And again, like start with progressions, start low, start with some thoracic spine extensions, work on your wrists. I have a lot of different exercises on Instagram and I have a course that will help you get through the bridge in different progressions. So you don't have to come out of the gate straight into the bridge. The bridge is kind of like the icing on the cake or maybe the cherry on top. So we're really working on the bridge as the end point and not necessarily always the tool to make our thoracic spine and shoulders more open. There are many different progressions that can lead us to the bridge. So just keep that in mind. So have a good warm up. Breathing is also an essential component of any stretch and actually any physical challenge. The more you can use your breath, the easier things are going to feel. So in the bridge, what I like to do is when I'm on my head, I do a deep inhale, and then when I exhale, I coordinate that with the press. And then every time I go a little bit deeper in the bridge, I exhale into it. So using your breath that way to soften your tissue and visualizing that softness can really get you deeper in that bridge or any stretch for that matter. All right, so I hope those bridging tips were helpful for you. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I come out with a new video.